Hi again, everyone. Jimmy Roberts. So glad you could join us once more here on The Big Swing. You know, my guess is that you might be a lot like me. I know a lot of people who love to play golf. Now, I don't mean love to play golf. I mean truly love to play golf. That is an apt description of the Hall of Fame pitcher, John Smoltz. The stories of him arranging games with teammates Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine when the Braves were on the road, well, they're legendary. Needless to say, Smoltz is pretty competitive, especially when it comes to sports. Since he retired from baseball 17 years ago, golf has filled that need for competition. He's played in a U.S. Senior Open and a variety of other high-level events. But now he has taken it to the next level. He started his own celebrity golf tour. It's called The Pro. So Smoltz turned his love of a game into a business, which is complicated. It's exhausting and it's fulfilling. Here's John Smoltz on The Big Swing, talking golf. How many years ago did you retire?
Man, 16?
16 years.
17 now.
Okay, 17 years. If your life depended on it and you had to throw a fastball today, what kind of numbers would we see on the gun?
78 miles an hour. If I want to enjoy life and use a fork and eat, I'm not going to do it anymore. But all my buddies like, I can hit off you now. I said, no kidding. My arm has thrown 10 million pitches, but no, it's broke. It's got 9 anchors in it. And playing catch is about all I really want to do. And throwing out the first pitch, my days are over. That is the most scariest thing. I've done that for 21 years, and I don't want to throw out another first pitch.
Really?
Yeah, it's the arm just doesn't work. Like the more I try to throw it, the worse the arm. I mean, it already knows. Like talking about it right now, my shoulder's got a little heartbeat going on.
Are you amazed at what you see? When I see slow motion of what a pitcher's arm looks like when he is mid-delivery, it looks incredibly unnatural.
It is. It's the most unnatural thing you can do. Throwing a football is more natural because of the position you've got your shoulder in. But once you get your shoulder to a level of throwing a baseball, there's nothing normal about it. And that's what's so incredible about the guys that did it before me, the guys that have done it after me, and just the dynamics that your body can go through. It's a gift to throw a baseball. Not everybody can do it. You have to have certain flexibilities and certain opportunities of hand-eye coordination to throw. And I defied that with my body because I'm so loose jointed that there's some assets and liabilities that I had to look after. So I worked really hard my whole career to throw as much as I did. And I did have like 4 elbow surgeries and a shoulder surgery. So it's not something, underhand is the way to go.
All right, look, I want to get back to baseball. We'll eventually get back there, but we're actually here to talk golf. And, you know, it occurs to me that you're a little bit like me. You had a full career, and then all of a sudden, you decide to start a new career.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Partially. I'm all in or I'm not. Like I'm either going to jump headfirst, all in something, in an endeavor, or I'm not. I'm not going to just check a box. And when it came to post-career, I didn't know what I was going to do. This was not what I planned on doing broadcasting. It was not something that I ever thought, oh, that's the next journey. It just happened. And then when the opportunity was there, I told my agent, I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it at the highest level. I don't want to just show up and do something that fills a box. And I'm now, 17 years into broadcasting and getting a chance to work at the highest level.
Tell me about
The Pro.
The Pro.
Yeah, The Pro has been a concept. It's been a dream of mine for a long time. As a pitcher, I think of ways to compete, to play golf, to have tournaments. And I've always envisioned, well, if it wasn't the Champions Tour, what's going to happen for me after I get out of my competition? Like once I'm done with baseball, how am I going to fill that competition void? Golf did it. And I played in every event that was out there. 2 years ago, the idea was presented to me by Tim Wilbanks, who Pat Mahomes Sr. said, if you want this to work, go see Smoltz. Because
he had the idea.
Yeah, Tim had the idea. I've always had the idea baked 20 years and never could get around somebody who was like-minded or thought about this being an endeavor. So we sat down, we had a 4-hour meeting. He presented the opportunity to me, and I'll never forget the look on his face. I said, "That's a great idea, but it'll never work." And what the idea was having one central date where every sport could, there's no calendar that works. So we morphed into the pro through a Ryder Cup for the 4 major sports
Okay.
to team only tournaments to where we are today. And that's open for every former athlete to compete at the highest level to crown a champion. And we've worked really hard to integrate this idea into fruition, and it's worked magically the first year. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. Our title sponsor, Texican, has been the reason why we've been doing this so far. But the guys are obsessed with the competition, and I knew it would work. In my mind, I knew it would work.
So what are you going to do with people like Jake Owen or Jack Wagner? They can't get in on the action?
Not as of right now, because we have uh, made it athletes only.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't say that this can't expand and certainly can't morph into a lot of things. But this first year with a Stableford system that's a little bit different, it's creating all kinds of drama at the end. We've had the first 3 were playoffs. The 4th one was a hole out to win. The 5th one was a hole in one that almost came back.
Whoa.
So we've had, and the 6th one was Marty Fish going birdie, birdie, eagle to win. So the competition's been unbelievable. The camaraderie is off the charts, because when athletes retire, and you know this and been around a lot of them, they don't know where to go.
Mm.
Like, people don't understand sitting at home. There's plenty of people sitting at home going, I could do that. I could have done that. They can't. But when an athlete retires, they're like, okay, now what? I mean, they've been so consumed with competition, and most of them with a teammate, that golf is the picking up the pieces that last longer, that gives them that adrenaline, that gives them that feeling like I can compete again, because
And-
that's all we've done.
And also gives community, right?
Absolutely. The community part is, if I had to rank what they're most blown away about by our tour, the community part might be actually close to the competition part, because we've created a locker room environment for 80 lockers and guys to come into like a ballroom, and they walk in, they're like, that's what I used to do. That's my locker. And they hang and they get to interact with players and former athletes that they would never have interacted with, and get to pick their brain. And it's been a really cool journey. It's been a hard journey. I'm the acting commissioner that, in theory, I thought, oh, that's no big
Acting,
deal.
huh?
Yeah, that's no big deal. I can do that. But boy, oh boy, it's been a lot of work, and to play and to kind of deal with all of that at the same time. I'm like, yeah, I got this. And whoo.
Tim Wilbanks. Tell me a little bit about Tim Wilbanks.
So I met Tim again through Pat Mahomes Sr. Our paths crossed in baseball, and of course his son, being now starting to play golf too. We connected. He's down the road in Birmingham, and this is his passion. He loves golf. He's done other business ventures, but this is the one thing that he had on his mind, is crowning a champion, the best overall golfer that's an athlete. And it really has been because of his baby that I'm all in. Like, I jumped all in with him. But we have a unique structure that we capture the beginning of the week. We leave the weekends alone. So everyone who's working in a sport, specifically football, they can play, because our tournament starts on Tuesday, ends on Thursday. Gives everybody their weekends, takes pressure off the golf courses. And I just think it's a perfect sweet spot right now for where we're a content-driven world, right? And I'm not in that space. I've been begged to get in that space, but I'm not. I have no social media. But think about the 80 guys that we have, and their ability to influence and certainly tell stories and have content. It's a big machine that we're kind of doling out one year at a time.
So this is primarily retired players.
All retired players.
It's all retired
Yeah,
players.
you cannot be a current player and play.
Okay.
So we've created a venue for the guys that when you retire, this thing's going to be waiting ready for you. Now, we'll have a lot of things ironed out. We're going to have to do qualifiers. There's so many players who have thrown their hat in the ring and have contacted us. And of course, by word of mouth, every player is saying, you got to play in this event, on this tour. So yes, guys like Steph, a couple years away maybe from retirement, maybe Aaron Rodgers, Justin
Right.
Verlander just announced his retirement. Those players and everyone who retires younger and younger, this is the sweet spot. I mean, I'm 59, so I've got about 10 more years where I feel like I can compete at a high level, and, I can only imagine if this was in place when I retired when I did, then I wouldn't have been a broadcaster.
What about the commercial viability of this? So you've got what? You've got 20 players from each sport that
In
are
theory, basketball's, no pun intended, they're short
yeah,
on their roster, and that's only gonna get better as they continue to dole out more and more of those basketball players. But in theory, yes, we want baseball, I could have 50.
right.
Football has been, and each sport's taking pride. Like they know baseball's number one. They've been giving us grief,
Yeah.
and they call us non-athletes. They can
You
say
sure
all
about
the
that?
things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
And they want their sport to rise.
All right. So how do you handle somebody like Marty Fish? You know, he's not baseball, basketball, football, hockey.
Right. So we're taking we have
A wild card division.
It's team other. So you
Team
got
other.
so you got team baseball, and it's team other right now till we can come up with a better name. But Marty is so appreciative because his field of tennis players, there are guys out there that just haven't stepped on. They've had a couple. We had Jimmy Connors play, and
He was passionate golfer.
so awesome in Indy.
He played.
He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And we had a time of our lives with him. So just think about the growth of that when tennis players start understanding soccer with Taylor Twellman.
Yeah.
We've got
Is he team other?
he's team other. Everyone that's not in the four major sports is team other. And the only thing they don't have as an advantage, there's no guarantees for them for the playoffs. There's no qualifiers. They just have to be the remaining top 8, which they're going to be. So it works out.
So let's talk about just the pure business of this.
Yeah.
So this is year one, right?
Year one.
So when this all started, how many hours did you spend trying to figure out, oh, on Tuesdays I have to do this, but that means I have to talk to this contractor and I got to see if this is going to be enough money for them, or is this going to make work? Is our budget work?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to deal with all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's out of my scope of expertise. But what I do in life, like my dad taught me a lot of things. And when he was alive, he was one of the greatest salesmen I've ever been around. And what I found myself doing is being a salesman. I found myself calling everybody that I knew who would connect me to this person and the next person. And I made probably 1,000 phone calls. And then I spent time on the phone. First of all, I have the greatest wife in the world that allows me to do this and multitask. And then every plane flight, I would write in my notebooks. I'm more of a guy that writes things down than use technology. And so I write all these things down and literally go piece by piece. And so imagine the many flights that I make.
Me too, by the way.
And that's how it started, meeting with Tim, getting in the room. It's really a small, it's Tim and I and a few others. And the thing that is so awesome about it is when you put in the work and you experience and you know what you know and know what you don't know, you start asking and looking for people that can help you. And so in this first year, I like an analogy of we got 12 balloons over our head. And as sooner or later, we're going to pull down certain balloons that are going to be great partners. And we're very close to doing that to where it now goes in the next direction. We wanted this year to be no lift, easy going for the players, no fans, no TV. We ended up doing some TV, which is cool now and understanding the content we have. But we wanted them to see this is for real. And now these guys have been awesome. We'll do anything it takes to understand that this is a real tour that is sustainable and will create a VIP experience that'll be second to none for a lot of different people.
So is this a public service for former athletes, or is this a commercial venture that you want to grow and develop?
I think it's both. I think we're going to align with some charities and we're going to be able to, you and I were part of something that I'm very now touched by with the Veterans Golf Association. I just know that there's some synergy there. There's some synergy with other charities that could not be part of something like this that will explode because of the manpower that we are bringing.
How big a staff do you have
7 or 8
to run the whole
It's
tour?
been amazing. I mean, pulling from now, it's going to get much, much bigger. It's going to get an army. But that's the thing about when you ask the question about how much did we have to do behind the scenes, a million things, and pulled it off. And I'm so proud of everybody that's been part of our team because this has been hard and probably a big reason why it never works because people, the sustainability and the stick-to-itiveness, and that was a mistake. Learn from it. Oh, that costs a lot. Learn from it. It's been one of the coolest journeys.
So I wanted to ask you what was week one like? You'd never done this before.
Yeah.
And now you're got an entirely new enterprise with zero experience. You
Right.
remember week one?
Oh, yeah. We started with a Ryder Cup, and that Ryder Cup was in Tampa. It was epic. Guys walked in for the first time. They saw the ballroom, and they were like, "You got to be kidding me."
So it was team baseball, team football.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
4 of them. And so that experience was phenomenal. Everyone loves Ryder Cups, right? I don't care if it's a local club. It's a fun thing. And so that's when I walked in and go, wow. Because I didn't really know how it would be received. I knew the concept on paper was fantastic. The guys were buzzing, but we had to recruit 12 for every sport into something they knew nothing about. I said, trust me. I got captains, Jerome Bettis, John Barry, and Jeremy Roenick, and I was the captain of baseball. And we talked about how this thing was going to be birthed. And I said, trust me. And they did their part, got the players.
Did you pay them to come? Pay their expenses?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And so the thing about our tour is we have a purse, $500,000 purse every tournament. But here's the catch that most people would think, really, I asked the players to pay their way to come.
Okay.
And then everyone gets paid. So unless you want to be an amateur, everybody gets paid. So the only way you don't cover your expenses on the tour is you finish 70th to 80th. And on any other place, that would be normal because if you don't make the cut in the
Right.
PGA. So that's how it started. And I went, wow, we got something really, really cool. And then we did an unofficial tournament in Alabama to kick off our tour. And I think if I had to use an analogy, guys were looking at me with one eye going, okay, I'm going to follow you, but I'm going to be watching. And then all of a sudden it became like, wow, I believe in under promise, over deliver. Yeah.
But it's not just as simple. Listen, to be fair, you guys are used to showing up at places and
Correct.
everything is taken care of. Now you got to take care of it.
Yeah.
So what was the journey like of the details?
So I go back to my baseball playing days when I set up golf for every one of my players.
Yeah, and that's a legendary story.
So I would make all the connections, get the rent-a-cars. All they had to do was show up. I said, you show up.
You're a detail guy.
I'm a detail guy, and all you got to do is show up. And if you miss, it's a fine. It was only maybe 1 or 2 fines. That's the beauty of it. Like they were showing up and making a decision. I said, you have a choice. Make a decision before night and then make that
I
decision.
like that.
So one phone call led to a million phone calls, led to I had a black book, and we didn't have technology. I had a notebook, and I wrote every member's names down, every contact, and I would call the golf course and say, hey, this is John Smoltz. And we weren't very good at the time.
Right.
As
Players?
As players.
Really?
Meaning when I started making contacts, we had not won. We were in last place.
Okay.
And so the invitations weren't being doled out.
Gotcha.
Once we started getting good, we started
They're
playing.
happy to have you.
That's how it started for me in the way that I think it's evolved into this golf tour is make connections, make contacts, and they are going to pass the baton and help you, because no one that I've told this story to about the tour didn't think it was a great idea. They just didn't. They just said, wish me luck. But so that's how it went down. And I've made 1 million of those phone calls. And believe me, in the beginning,
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of like, oh, okay. After every golf tournament we did, those people have reached back and said, this was unbelievable. We had no idea. Because I think the perception, you nailed it earlier, the perception of players is a couple things. We're entitled, we show, and you're used to everyone rolling out the red carpet. Well, this is different. And this is different. And my message to players were, I don't need you. I have so many players that if you think this is all about you, then we don't need you. And what happens is the places we go, they're blown away by how great the guys have been.
Give me a big mistake.
Well, big mistake is we overpaid for some things that we didn't have to overpay for.
Okay.
And we are no longer in that spot. But to create the experience and to understand what we built, we had to do some of those things. Any startup company, anything you do, you're going to have the balance sheet's not going to look great. But in year 2 and year 3, then you're going to all of a sudden go from half to even to making money. And so when it came to the luxuries that we created for these players, I told him, I said, you just fed a lot of stray dogs, and they're going to keep showing up at your doorstep because that dog is wanting to get fed. And we've created that in the way where the locker room, the buffets, the food, the golf courses have been unbelievable. And so we haven't had, there's going to be a clunker. We haven't had one yet. There's going to be something. We ran into weather, which was unbelievable at Indian Wells. We had 70-mile-an-hour winds, 10 trees fell down. We didn't know if we even complete the tournament. We got it in. It was part of, again, the DNA of an athlete. All right, just tell me what I got to do, and I'll adjust to the adversity.
How many hours a day or a week do you spend on administration? Not on playing golf, not on getting better, just on running the pro.
I would say in this first year, every free moment that I had, I was on a phone call, or I was either, like I said, on a plane, strictly doing this. Now, I'm not going to let this sacrifice my day job. So when the day job came on the weekend, Friday and Saturday were all about baseball, and then everything else was all about this golf tournament. I'm bigger in all of us getting in a room and spending a day and a half, which we've done. We've rented a place. We spend a day and a half. We go over everything. And to me, that's when you get the most productive things done, when everybody has a say and they think about whiteboard items like that works, that doesn't work. And the players have been great. Whatever you need, John, lean on me. Here's my contact. And what ended up happening is I'd say 20 players brought us contacts of, you got to talk to this person. They're fired up about this. The hardest part was talking to everybody and everybody having an idea or a place where they say, we want to be part of it. That's the balloons in the air. So now we're close to really latching on and shuffling all the people. When you talk about clothing contacts and all these contacts are there now, and now we're at the point of really taking off.
What does success for the pro look like?
I think success for the pro would be bringing money in, advancing charities, and being a viable tour that guys are ready when they retire to play in this tour. I think this has success for me would be, this is going to last a long time.
Everyone can tell you what happened in golf. The Big Swing Golf Business Intelligence Brief tells you why it matters and what's coming next. I'm Jimmy Roberts. Twice a week, our team of reporters and investment professionals delivers original reporting, engaging storytelling, exclusive access, and sharp analysis of the trends reshaping the game.
The people who play golf, they think about golf all the time.
It's essential reading for people who work in and invest in golf, and for those who care about its future. Visit bigswingmedia.news and start your 14-day free trial today. All right, time now for Powering the Women's Game, presented by Chevron. And last month, Versant made one of its biggest acquisitions yet, spending $530 million for the simulator technology company Full Swing. You might know Full Swing from TGL. That same technology, including the simulators, the virtual greens, and the performance data, they'll be the platform that WTGL, the new Women's Team Golf League, launches on this winter. So what does this multi-million-dollar acquisition have to do with the women's game? Well, maybe more than you think. Full Swing is the infrastructure underneath the most ambitious new property in women's golf. Versant just paid $500 million to own it. And with WTGL still searching for a broadcast home, the company that owns Golf Channel, Golf Now, and Golf Pass inserted itself into a very interesting conversation. That's Powering the Women's Game, presented by Chevron.
So you're not cash positive at this
No.
point in terms of being a business.
Correct.
You've got an investor
Correct.
who has staking you
Yes.
to a certain amount. So you're hoping, have you been able to project?
I think personally for me in year 3, we always project I think this was a 2 to 3 year process to break even. And I think we're ahead of the curve on that. We're trending in the right direction for that. We've done the bare minimum. Like when you do the bare minimum and people are like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard about you. And it was intentional. Now we have a machine that's going to go to the marketplace, the world, and drive people to content, drive them to storylines, to really, really good golf. We don't want to be competing with anybody else because you asked earlier, this is about really, really good golf.
Is there a minimum handicap?
We set a minimum handicap of about 8. I just think the more you can play straight up golf and use a quota system, I think that balances the field and gives everybody, this is what I know about athletes. If they feel like it's not a fair fight with a handicap system, you're not going to get them.
Right. When you started this, did you start it with a formal business plan, or was it just an idea and you kind of walked along the path of collecting whatever logistical support you need?
Yeah, I think Tim had a good logistic plan, business plan. He's done many things before this. I walked at it, looked like it as an idea that I could come alongside, and I will be the ideas guy. I'll be the executor of the athletes and really take charge in that area and make tough decisions and handle the minutia of all the things that come along with that. That in it by itself, eventually, I'd love to get a real commissioner that can
So
do
you could
that,
play golf.
so I can play golf. But up until this point, again, I've had nothing but people wanting to help, and we're professional trash talkers. And the beauty of professional trash talkers is if you can't dish it out, you're falling by the wayside. And these guys can dish it out in their own sport. You don't want to tick off, we know, don't tick off the football players. Like that's maybe not the right moment for the hockey players, especially when they're enjoying some of their beverages. And it's just a cool environment.
A guy named John Burke, known as Cubby. And Cubby used to say that he would look at a guy and he'd say, he's a major minor. I said, what are you talking about? He's a major grief giver, but a minor grief
Yes,
taker.
no doubt.
You don't want to be that person, right?
It's exactly right. And we've already established some of the rivalries that you think would be natural, and they're organic. It's not like made up to get content. It's literally there, and it's who these guys are. Right now, we're an invitational. We reward the top 40. The top 40 get an invite every tournament. So if they want to play in every tournament and they're in the top 40, they get rewarded. The bottom 40 and the next 60 or the next 70 get shuffled in. Now we're in the recruitment business. Now we're going after.
You're an agent now.
Yeah. I'm going after the big names, and all the big names are starting to sniff around and go,
Who do you want?
well, that's a great question. I mean, the guys I want are really too busy right now. I've talked with Tom Brady. I've talked with Michael Strahan. He's going to play. Michael Phelps. There's definitely guys that we have out there that I think are perfect for this. Some guys weren't able to play because of their schedule this year, but I want everybody that wants to be part of the tour,
Right.
that want to match their game, and more importantly, bring their sport to relevancy. Right? I'm holding off baseball players, like just so many of them. I've told people that I will take on anybody in the world, and then here's the caveat: you have to be 95 years or older combined as your partners. So I'm 59 and he's 36, I believe. So together, I will play with Aaron Hicks against anyone who's 95 or older combined.
Are you talking about pro players too?
I don't care. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
he does hit it a long way.
it's impressive. It really is. Like that's what I don't think people understand. The top 20 to 40 players, it's impressive.
All right, a couple things here. Who is the best trash talker?
The best trash talker in his mind is Josh Donaldson.
Okay.
But he goes to bed just talking trash, and then he falls asleep and wakes up. So he and I have this natural rivalry going right now.
Well, hitter pitcher.
Hitter pitcher, and definitely he hits it farther than anybody I've ever seen. And Marty's the nicest. Marty Fish, the nicest trash talker you will ever meet. And Joe Pavelski feels that void as well. And so, Ray Allen.
Right.
Ray Allen has the same attributes. So, but it's cool to watch guys come out of their shell.
Well, you talk about quiet guys. I mean, I don't know that you could characterize Michael Jordan as quiet, but the ultimate piece of trash talk is the story about him is well known, where he pulls up on the first tee and somebody says, "What do you want to play for?" And he says, "Whatever makes you nervous."
I had one of the greatest rounds. It was the first round that I played with Michael Jordan. First time I met him. He was in sport, I was in sport, but I had done nothing, and he had already won MVPs and championships. He gets to the 18th hole, and he's got about a 20-footer for birdie, and if he makes it, he beats me because he had doubled the bet, and I got about a 7.5, 8-footer for birdie. And before he gets over the putt, and he goes, "This is no big deal," and he resumes himself. It's the most impressive resume you've ever heard. 3-time NBA champ, he went through, this is no big deal, and he drained it. So now I get over my putt. I've got no resume. I've got nothing to say. And I'm like, we lost 100 games 2 years in a row. Luckily, I made it. But when you talk about that confidence and that willingness, both he and Tiger Woods, there is not another person in the world who had more competitive willingness to get it done.
You've played a bunch with Tiger.
I have.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's the greatest time of my life. 35 rounds or so back in the day of spring training in Orlando. The imagination, the practice. I would have sat in a chair and watched him practice.
Yeah.
To hit a golf ball the way he hit it, TV didn't do it justice.
Yeah.
I actually threw a simulated game to Tiger.
Really?
And he said, I want to see everything you have and do not lay off any of the pitches. I said, Tiger, here's the deal. I'm not worried about if I might hit you. That's not the case. I'm worried about you getting jammed. And those jamming of that thumbs is not good for, he goes, I'm good. Just do your thing. Threw him the kitchen sink. I threw him fastball sliders. He wasn't going to hit it. Okay. The difference would be like me going to the Masters and making the cut. There's no chance. So I started letting him be able to get the bat on the ball. He hit one up the middle. He got so mad when he found out. But he did declare himself 1 for 4 with a base hit up the middle. And my catcher, Brian McCann, bless his heart, was so intimidated, wouldn't call strikes against Tiger. But it was a cool experience. He's a great athlete. He held his own, but he wanted to see it. He wanted to see what it was like.
Holds himself to a very high standard,
Absolutely. Yeah.
which is what great athletes and great performers do, is that
We would play ping pong, shoot hoops. That's where the first round ever with Annika. This is the first time they both played together. I played in that match with Annika.
Annika, Tiger, and you.
Yeah. And
Who was the fourth?
it was Chipper Jones. That was the coolest, most unbelievable round of golf I've ever been part of. She was number one, obviously. He was number one. She was getting ready to play in Memphis. And man, oh man, I can remember every shot. And I literally did something in golf that got more attention for what I did in golf than anything I did in my career. And I
Playing with the two
I
of them.
beat Annika that day.
Oh,
You want to talk about trash talking? The next time we played, she waxed us and talked all kinds of trash. And I said, that's awesome. And we've had unbelievable matches since. But I'll never forget it because she was very nervous. She was the two of them got to the range. When they got to the range, Tiger kept doing this head action that he was so enamored with how straight she hit the golf
Right.
ball. And
because
then
that was her move.
that was
the
her
head.
move.
Right.
And they got to, I can't even explain it, but you put a golf bag, it's about this high. And they got 10 feet behind and they said, let's see how close you can get to flopping it over the golf bag. And she hung with them until Tiger got this far from the golf bag and did this kind of move that flopped the ball over. And she goes, well, I can't do that. And that's the kind of stuff that I was watching that you could never pay for and see their imagination. And it was really, like I said, it was one of the coolest things I've ever been part of.
All right, let's go back to the pro here. A couple of quick things here. The purse. What is the purse? How is it divided?
So the purse is $500,000
for each tournament.
For each tournament, 80 guys, and so the purse is basically everyone gets paid, and it's split more evenly than it would be proportionally for an actual PGA.
Fans on site. You don't have them yet.
We haven't yet. We're gonna, but it brings in a whole, security, expenses, the tournament structure. It brings in a whole different element. We think that the VIP exclusive element of 250 people is cool right now. And
So that's where you are right now.
that's
So
where
it's a VIP. It's an experience.
it's an experience.
Last thing about the pro that I want to talk about, media. Presently, what is your structure and how can people see it?
Right now, theprotour.com is our website that has been vastly improved since the very first tournament. We stream our telecasts through that.
And you have people doing commentary?
Yep. Yes, we do. We have I say 5 to 7 cameras. We
Okay.
captured so much incredible content, you couldn't make it up. Like the shots and the reception of the moment has been unbelievable. We've seen an albatross on a par 5 on camera. We've had a hole in one. We've had epic finishes, and we've had great interviews and great content battering back and forth.
Yeah.
So that part is ahead of schedule.
Here at The Big Swing, we are big fans of anything and everything Peter Millar, especially their performance polos, which have been great this blast furnace of the summer. But I'm looking forward to the temperatures cooling off and getting to wear some of the amazing layers in the new fall collection. This year, Millar is really leaning into performance sweaters, highly technical layers that have all the stretch and wicking features, but with a nod to the classic sweaters of the past. Check out the Cradle, a sweater-like look with double knit fabric, is super soft with a smooth jersey interior. You can go crew neck or the new quarter zip for fall. There's also the Albatross, a very similar look, but with a more lightweight and elevated aesthetic that works on or off the course. Make sure to stock up on the entire collection to prep for the upcoming season at petermillar.com.
Let me shift for a moment to baseball, because I can't imagine when I say Hall of Fame, and I'm a sports reporter, I've spent my life covering sports. Every sport has a Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Fame is Cooperstown.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you like? You were a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you like when you found out?
It was the phone call that I almost never picked up. That day, the call was supposed to come, but I rarely answer my home phone. That's when I had a home phone number. And I was either going to legitimately, I'm not making this up, I was going to play in a men's rec basketball big tournament game that night,
Right.
or I was going to do a press conference and anticipate going to the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I never put any eggs in the basket of thinking I would be. I just was treating it like a normal day. I thought the phone call was supposed to come to my cell phone.
Huh.
So when the phone rang, I'm like, that's not it. I'm going to wait. And I went over and I did see the 201
New Jersey.
I'm like, oh, I better answer this one. And I got the call and I got the, I was sitting there and really wasn't showing any emotion. I said, yes, thank you. All right. And I hung up. And people at my house going, who is that? I was like, I just got into the Hall of Fame. And I was also prepared, just because this is who I am. I was working for MLB Network at the time, and they had set up in my basement either way. I never treated my career like, I'm a Hall of Famer. I was so humbly honored to be part of the process that led me to the Hall of Fame, because I was linked with Greg and Tom, and everyone kind of in a perfect world would love to have seen me retire the same time they did. And I said, that's not what we're about. That's not who we are. And it worked out great for them. They were automatic first ballot Hall of Famers. My career was different.
Do you think that becoming a reliever is what got you into the Hall of Fame, despite the fact that your credentials as a starter?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was frustrated, but then the blessing of what I tried to tell everybody, because reporters would ask me this all the time. I said, I'm not pitching for the Hall of Fame. If I was going to pitch for the Hall of Fame, I'd do things differently. I had 14 pretty darn good years as a starter. And then in one off season, when I became a closer, they went, this is it. And I was frustrated. I was kind of mad. I'm like, you're going to just throw away 14 incredible years and all those postseason games and just say this is what I was meant to be because I made the transition look, I guess, easier than it should have been. And then I realized that's just noise. And I tell reporters all the time, and they see it now. I'm like, I would have never left the closer's role if I truly was addicted to the Hall of Fame, because I would have amassed even more numbers.
Right.
But I went back to starting, risking it all, because I want to win championships.
So that's what you did. You would have done differently.
Correct. I would trade so many personal things for more championships. We should have won more rings. And I'm so driven by that I would do whatever it takes. And luckily, because I played for the greatest manager in Bobby Cox, I wanted to play for him more than I wanted to do my own thing. Because my own thing was like, really? You're going to tell me I can't start now? Because, right. And so that whole transition was so unique that the arguments, and I used to hear them from afar about whether I was or wasn't a Hall of Famer at the time, I just laughed at, because it's like, who are you going to compare me to?
Right.
And not that that's any, I mean, I get compared with Dennis Eckersley, and I'm honored because he's one of the best all time. Yeah. I didn't have to do that. Like, it just became a choice based on the organization. So when I wrap it all up, the only thing I wish, we won more rings.
Well, listen, you could have been Ted Williams, one of the greatest to ever play the game, and he never won a single ring.
That's true.
So, you do have the ring.
That's true.
I had intended to engage you in a little bit of this talk about leadership, and you mentioned it yourself. Bobby Cox passed away recently.
Yeah.
You played for 2 decades as part of a team. And you hear business leaders talk all the time about their teams and effective leadership and motivating people or inspiring people. What did you see from Bobby that you think other people could learn, whether it's in business or in life, in terms of how to help people be better?
Yeah. It's a great question, and he did it, whether it was intentional or not. I thought that he had the greatest leadership skills I've ever seen as a manager in a sport that's difficult, that's based on failure. We are a sport based on failure, and who fails the least is going to be the most.
They say if you fail
exactly.
70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame.
He had a unique opportunity to establish very simple rules that if you couldn't keep those rules, you had no business playing baseball. Those rules in baseball don't exist today. Wear your hat right, show up on time, and no music in the clubhouse. And when you think about stripping those away, and what do they actually mean? Discipline. Honor the place you are working for, and it's not about you. And honor that uniform, and that can be applicable to any business. By wearing your hat right, not treating it. Show up on time. Like, that shouldn't be hard. That you're going to be a great teammate if you show up on time. You're going to be disciplined. And no music in the clubhouse. What does that mean? Well, don't do anything that's going to irritate somebody else. If you have a personal like, wear your headphones. He just said, wear your headphones. We want to create an environment where everybody can thrive and not be irritated by something they're listening to or something they say. And so those are 3 simple rules that 20 years I lived by. But what he did better than anybody is he believed in you, not blind loyalty, but he believed in you, in the person. He would help you become an adult or teach you how to become an adult. And if you couldn't, he'd help you. But he did something that was so far greater. He would instill confidence in you when you didn't have it.
That's tough.
By simplifying the actual goal in baseball, right? So let's just say you're a position player and you are mightily struggling out of the gate. He would say, all right, look, we're halfway through the season. You're not going to hit 300, but can you hit 300 for a week? And the guy would go, absolutely. Concentrate on that. I'm going to keep sticking you in there. Don't worry about the long range goal. Just simplify. And he would come alongside. He would give you a kick in the pants when you need it, a pat on the back. But he would take all the bullets. He would take all the blame. And you as a player would go, why is he doing that? He would rather him be the person that took all the criticism, which he took so much. He got thrown out for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
But he was that warrior that says, you want to go and run through a wall for him. I was 2-11 in 1991. There's no reason for me to stay in the rotation. You got to understand, he traded for me, and then he became my manager. And so there was some personal liability or personal...
Right, because he had been the general manager.
He'd been the general manager. And people were claiming, to get him in the bullpen or send him out. I'm 2-11. We're 9 games back in 1991. And he says, no, it's the best 2-11 I've ever seen in my life. He didn't say that to just say it. He meant it. And he was right, because I couldn't get out of an inning every game. So I would pitch great, and then one inning would blow it up. So in 1991, the second half, I went 12-2. He handed the ball to me for the 3 most significant games in Braves history. I pitched 9 innings to get us into the playoffs, 9 innings at Pittsburgh to go in the World Series, and I was on my way to 9 innings in Game 7. That alone, when players watch what he does and says, and when it matches, leadership is effective. And it's applicable to everything. I tell people all the time, I watched the greatest leader in my life through a sport that would transcend to everything else you could do. I tried, I almost was successful. I wanted to play my entire career for Bobby Cox. I turned down some of the greatest offers. By the way, in Philadelphia, they threw in Pine Valley and Maryland. If you don't think that was a great offer. I mean, and after I won the Cy Young, they had one of the best offers that you could give a guy like me. Now, if the Atlanta Braves hadn't come close to the money, there's 100% I'm going to Philadelphia. So that's how much he meant to me. And I'm talking millions turned down because I knew I wouldn't be happier there. I was playing for the guy I wanted to play for.
Right.
And if I didn't have shoulder surgery, I would have played my last year, for him. But that's what he meant. And man, he was revered.
Yeah. Rest his soul. God
Yes,
rest his soul.
absolutely.
John, it's been a lot of fun to talk to you. The pro, wish you the best of luck with
Thank you very much.
it. Yeah, really been a lot of fun.
Hey, Jack Wagner here, and my big swing moment was when I was working in a clothing store on Hollywood Boulevard in 1983, just out of drama school. And after 5 screen tests, I got the call that I got the part of Frisco Jones on General Hospital. Big swing.
I've been around this game for some time now, and one of the things I think I appreciate most about the Chevron Championship is that it's about more than just great golf. Chevron's partnership with the LPGA and the LPGA Foundation is really about investing in women on the course, in business, and in the community. It's about opening doors, giving back, and making sure the work doesn't stop when the last putt drops. Because when you invest in women in sports and leadership, you're investing in the future for all of us. And honestly, that's just the right thing to do. One last thing. A couple of big stories from the sports headlines, two people in the news, and they were at opposite ends of the spectrum this past week, or at least by a certain measure. Unless I'm missing something, Jackson Koivun and LeBron James wouldn't appear to have too terribly much in common, other than maybe LeBron's newfound love of golf. What they do share, though, is both, at a young age, had an enormous amount of talent. Koivun's 21. You might know that last week he galloped past the world's #1 player, Scottie Scheffler, to win the PGA Tour's 3M Open. Koivun's best days, you'd imagine, are certainly ahead of him. It's tough to think that that's the case for the 41-year-old James, who was actually playing professional basketball long before Koivun was even born, and at a younger age than Koivun is now. In the wake of James signing with the Sixers, I have noticed more than a few Philadelphia fans grousing. Okay, let's be fair here. Philadelphia fans don't really grouse, do they? They rage. And there's certainly plenty of that online when it comes to their new stars, let's call it advanced age. A couple things here, and maybe I'm just a little bit sensitive about this. Tom Brady, he won a Super Bowl when he was 43. Nolan Ryan pitched a no-hitter and struck out 16 batters when he was 44. And do I really need to tell you what Jack Nicklaus did at Augusta National when he was 46 years old? As for Koivun, potential can be wonderful. It can also be a burden. Kwame Brown was the NBA's #1 pick right out of high school. He played for 7 teams and averaged all of 6 points. Sports Illustrated once called a guy named Eddie Pierce the next Nicklaus. He never won a single PGA Tour event, and he was selling cars by the time he was 32. The point is, age and potential are really tricky things. Both of them amount to exactly nothing. All that matters is the actual doing of the thing. To that end, some perspective from a pair of great Americans. Ralph Waldo Emerson once noted that when it comes to potential, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. As for age, Satchel Paige, who pitched 3 scoreless innings in the major leagues when he was 59, and no, it wasn't in Philadelphia, he once asked, "How old would you be if you didn't know how old you was?" A couple of smart guys saying just about the same thing. Age really is just a number, and the only thing that matters is how good you are with the math. That's it for this time around. Thanks so much for being with us. Remember, we're here every Tuesday on Golf Channel, then Wednesdays on YouTube, or wherever it is that you enjoy your podcast. Visit us at bigswingmedia.news to check out our new Golf Business Intelligence Brief. I'm Jimmy Roberts. We'll see you next time right here on The Big Swing.
The Big Swing with Jimmy Roberts is a production of Big Swing Media. Fred Buescher, CEO, and Jimmy Roberts, COO.